Hello, everyone. Episode 37. Yay.
Woohoo!
Vinci Quarter Book Club. We had a little bit of a tech issue. Had to dissect cat issue, possibly. But we're good now. All right, cool.
Yeah. Well, we think so.
I think so. But we're good. Fingers crossed.
In the interest of catching back up a bit, I will talk about Tennessee Williams.
Yes. Yes, we will.
So we've talked about Tennessee Williams multiple times because what we've done
We're big fans, first of all.
Streetcar and two short stories or three short stories now. So yeah, we're Tennessee Williams fans.
Yes.
Um, but I'll quickly go through again for anybody who wasn't here for any of those other times.
Yeah.
Um, Tennessee Williams, who was born Thomas Lanier Williams the third in
Mm.
1911 in Columbus, Mississippi, had a distant father and a mother who struggled with mental health issues, as well as a sister who struggled with mental health issues. Um, he didn't gain success until he was 33, so he was a struggling writer up until that point, taking odd jobs. And in fact, his success hit with his play, The Glass Menagerie, which is what we read.
Yes.
And then once it hit, man, it hit big because much of his work was adapted to the cinema.
Yeah.
His father considered him weak because he nearly died of a childhood illness, and he was also effeminate. Um, his father was a shoe salesman and a heavy drinker, prone to loud and turbulent behavior. Um, and he, just wasn't part of the day to day of the family as Tennessee got older. Um, Williams himself suffered a nervous breakdown and left his job as a factory worker because he just wasn't making it as a writer. Um, so this was obviously before the Glass Menagerie. But all of his life experiences worked their way into his stories. He was really successful in the 40s and 50s and didn't do as well in the 60s and 70s because he suffered from depression and also lost his partner at that time.
Mm.
Um, he had a sister named Rose who was institutionalized for mental health issues. She also went through a lobotomy because, we didn't deal with mental health very well back then. So, yeah, as we read or go through the story, you're going to notice some similarities because The
Yeah.
Glass Menagerie is his most autobiographical work. And I did note elements that are like for like between uh, Tom, the character in the play, and Tennessee.
Yeah. And
Both
also, and
both of
also,
whom's initials are TW. So,
very convenient, ironic.
yeah.
Also the end of the sister too. We're gonna compare.
Yeah.
The is it Laura?
Laura and Rose. Yeah, Laura
Laura.
is
Laura
the
is a
sister in the story, and
Rose.
Rose is Tennessee's sister. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, and does it really go into the mom? I don't know if you thought about. I wasn't. Do we really know a lot about the mother in real
Um,
life?
so so well, I could go through the similarities um that I noted. So both Tom in the story has and Tennessee have an absent father.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay, so yeah, that's. I
Tennessee's
mean, that's probably
Tennessee's father wasn't
accurate.
around. Tom's father has left the family
I
in the
see.
play. Like that
Yeah.
happens before we even start. So, um, both worked in shoe factories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the factory that Tennessee Williams worked in was a shoe factory. Tom is a factory worker for a shoe company. They're both restless, aspiring writers. They're not happy with what they've got currently. They want to write.
Yeah.
Um, They both had guilt over wanting to be away from their family to go
Yes.
live their own life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Both had fragile sisters. So Rose was very like the broken unicorn, which we will
Yeah.
come to later.
Yeah.
She was damaged mentally by the outside world. She wasn't able to deal with it. Hence, she was given a lobotomy and ended up in care.
Okay.
Um, Both had aging Southern belles for mothers who were clinging to their past, um,
Yes.
and and clinging to their children. Um, some parents allow their children to grow up and become their own people. Some parents hold on to their children and want them to be what they want them to be. And
Or
the mothers, both in the story and in real life for Tennessee, were very much that.
yeah, or unfairly guilt them for things out of their control.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so yeah.
both lived in St. Louis tenements as well.
Oh, okay.
So
So
this story is set in St. Louis.
okay, so like this a little disclaimer. So we're not going to go through every single detail of the story because
No.
um, it'll take too long. It's a play, so it is in the 100 in my edition. We're at 138, 37 pages, but it's all dialogue, just like every play. So it goes by pretty fast. I read it in a how long did it take me to read? An hour and a half.
Yeah, it was closer to 2 hours, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We
But
did chat about it for a minute as well.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna go into what we feel are the important sections of this. I mean, it's all important, but just for the sake of a conversation, we'll probably go
Um,
scene by scene.
yeah, yeah. So the first thing I will say though is it's and it is something that was talked about quite a lot. There's production notes here for the play. This is a memory play. So it's not to be looked at as this
Mm,
is what happened word for word. This
yeah,
is fuzzy like a memory.
or
And I
even an
have one,
aspiration at times.
yeah, I want to read one thing from the production notes that I thought was really good descriptor of what's going on here.
Yeah,
It says expressionism and all other unconventional techniques in drama have only one valid aim, and that is a closer approach to truth. When a play employs unconventional techniques, it is not, or certainly shouldn't be, trying to escape its responsibilities of dealing with reality or interpreting experience, but it is actually or should be attempting to find a closer approach, a more penetrating and vivid expression of things as they are. So what he's saying there is, we're not going to tell you that the kitchen has a Frigidaire in it. We're just going to give you a view of a kitchen, but the reality is what the people in the kitchen are talking about, and that's the truth. So it
yeah,
doesn't really matter, if all the details there.
yeah. What was the word I used? It was like serendipitous. Like
Yeah.
the situations that would I don't sometimes I get upset in in movies when coincidences are a little too perfect it's, to say the least, and I don't this is not realistic to me, but it, Tennessee Williams does like preface this whole play by saying this is a memory, this is me how I thought I think it should happen, or I wish it would have happened, or because it touches upon a lot of different things. So that's I'm glad that Shiny, that you said that, because for those who are reading this and go, oh, that's wow, okay, that's odd that this one person ends up being this person. Uh, it does. I don't want you to have a judgment because it is a memory, like Tennessee said, and like Shiny was reiterating. So
Yeah, so scene one.
yeah,
Um, Scene one, we are introduced to Tom.
yeah,
He's our narrator. He comes in with some opening commentary. He explains that the play is a memory as well.
Yeah.
and talks a little bit about what that is. And then when he's done with his explanation, we kind of the staging of the play was even talked about being like you see it through some transparency.
Yeah.
There's multiple levels, and sometimes the way the lighting is, you see the middle level the best, and sometimes the way the lighting is, you see the front level the best. So it's very much all taking place in one apartment,
Yeah. It's one
and
scene play for the
yeah,
most. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
one location, 7 scenes, one location.
yeah.
So Tom lives in this apartment with his mother and his sister. Um, Things to note is there's a typewriter diagram on the wall. There are shelves with little glass animals.
Yeah.
There's a kitchen. There's a bedroom that's separated by some curtains. Um, and his mother kind of is ruler of all in this space.
Yeah.
Um,
There's also that picture on
she
the wall too. There's like it's
Oh, the
kind of
picture on the wall. That
it's,
is a
it's
big
huge.
part of
Yeah,
it.
it's a
The
big
the
part of it.
picture of his father.
There's a picture of his father
Yeah.
hanging on the wall. It's kind of somewhat imposing. Uh,
Yeah.
we get the backstory of his father later on, or as the the play goes on. Like we get kind of learn a little bit of the father here and there, but it's in a way I'm not shiny. The shiny maybe it's like to me it felt like the picture was taunting them in ways throughout if
Yeah.
there was situations happening in the with it like arguments between the family members. I feel like the father was kind of always going, "Huh,
They
look at
always
this."
throw him into it as well,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
He even though
Like,
he's not, he's like it's a symbol. It's not a real person, but like I feel like this just the picture itself holds a lot of emotional weight.
hmm
Maybe even uh, like a kind of blaming in ways. So
yeah.
like
Uh
we have this scene.
yeah.
Uh,
They're having dinner.
yeah,
Um Amanda is criticizing her children
Amanda's the mom.
constantly. Yeah, Amanda is the mom, Laura is the sister, Tom is the son. Um slash brother. So yeah, so Amanda is, criticizing her children.
Yeah,
She's also um reliving her past endeavors. She's talking about all the gentleman callers she had.
yeah,
How she had, what was it, like 18 in one Sunday?
yeah. And this is
And
a story that she says over dinner, and like the kids are like, "Oh yes, we mom's gonna tell her story. Let her talk."
yeah. Um and Laura, bless her, is like, well, I don't think we're going to receive any gentleman callers for me. Like, Laura's very resigned to her fate. She
Yeah,
doesn't she doesn't see any need to be any different than she is.
yeah,
Um and she is quite happy
and
to
yeah,
play with her glass animals and that be it,
yeah. That's which
pretty
is the
much.
focal point of the story. It's like she has like it's like her own little world. It's probably
hmm
it's also important to point out that she is disabled. She has a physical. She has I'm not sure
A limp.
a limp, to say the least. What do they call it?
It wasn't, it might have been another
Yeah, there's a number. There's a name.
polio limp.
Yeah, or something like that. So she has a limp, which it takes her to get around. She talks about it later in school how that it's hard for her to move around, hard for her to even
Yeah, it
connect with
says a
people.
childhood illness has left her crippled, one leg slightly shorter than the other and held in a brace, which sounds like polio to me,
Yeah.
because that is a quite common thing with polio.
But like, I think this is an important scene too because the mom Amanda is just kind of critiquing how Tom should eat his food. Oh, you should um, chew each piece and get as much as the taste. Like, don't rush through things. You must like eat stately and
Oh,
all this,
she
and
she talks about mastication, and Tom has no time for that.
yeah,
It's
but like
like, that's
like
gross. Stop talking about it.
yeah, explains like how you should chew your food, and it's important to chew your food, and then maybe how like animals have toxins to break down the food, but as humans we don't. We can just chew that, and we don't have to, you know, our stomach
Yeah.
doesn't have to do that. And Tom's like, well, I lost my appetite. You keep talking like this.
Scrapplejack has a quote there. Honey, don't push with your fingers. If you have to push with something, the thing to push with is a crust of bread. And chew, chew, which
Yeah,
is what she says. Um, she does. You're absolutely right. She's kind of critiquing everything. She
yeah,
also tells him he smokes too much.
yeah,
Um, Laura, I get the impression from this scene, is always trying to keep the peace
yeah.
because she very quickly is like, "Oh, I'll go get the blancmange from the kitchen." She's
Hmm.
trying to deflect. Um, but yeah, that just it is very much kind of a setup, this first scene,
Yeah.
to
I
let
mean,
you
and it
know
really
how the
like,
interactions are between the family.
yeah, it shows that Tom and the mom are in constant disagreement.
Hmm.
To, I think the mom looks at Tom in a way like holds him to tries to hold him to a standard probably more than above his father.
Hmm.
Tom's father is gets mentioned, but I won't mention it as of yet. But I'm saying like he has to live up to in ways live up
Hmm.
to his father some qualities, and other ways what not live up to, but watch out or be aware of qualities that could that she may like. Oh, your father used to do that, and so don't do that. But then there was like it was back and forth. Like some stuff, the mom kind
Hmm.
of admired her ex husband, or the father of the children. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, it's like it's they don't like to. Tom just seems annoyed by all this, and um, you kind of like this.
There's also there's also a bit of um denial in the mother,
Yeah,
like putting her head in the sand. Yeah, Scrapplejack's absolutely correct. She's romanticized her past.
yeah,
She's talking about all these men that she could have married.
yeah.
Um, and she's like, "Oh, but I picked your father." But
Mm-hmm.
um the other thing is, she almost kind of lives in this lack of reality in the present as
Yeah.
well, where she's like, "Oh, it's almost time for the gentleman callers to arrive." They have no gentleman callers, but
No,
she's
no.
still kind of pushing this view that possibly they could.
And I love it. Like just one of the things that have always interested me is it's like people who they grew up in a society that doesn't exist anymore, but they still in their head they still think they still operate like it exists. So that's the way
Yeah,
she
they haven't
is.
moved
They
on.
haven't moved on, and she's a little bit in denial of her situation, the denial of the present, because I mean they're in a tenement building, which is like more lower class than middle class. Maybe a few people could be seen, but like most of this is lower class. It's not.
Hmm.
She doesn't live in plantation houses anymore.
Yeah.
Um, big like lots of like beautiful spreads and um, land and things like that. It's like maybe in her, at one time she was like that, but now she's not. So, but she's still trying to carry herself in that with like this. I
Yeah.
don't know, this like kind of this decorum, but and then raise her kids like that. But again, Tom kind of sees through that. I think at any moment throughout the conversation, he's like, "I'm gonna get smoke. I'm gonna smoke," and just to get away from her.
Yeah. He just tries to, yeah, remove himself from the situation.
Yeah.
Um, I think we can move on to scene two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Scene two, we find out. So Amanda is a member of the DAR, which is Daughters of the American Revolution, which
Mm-hmm.
again speaks to her hanging on to the past.
Yeah.
Um, and she's coming back from that, and there's clearly something wrong. Like
Yeah.
Amanda wants you to know that she's unhappy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Um,
got that impression. Like, I'm upset. I want the world to know I'm upset. I know so many people like
exactly.
that.
She comes, up the stairs like a woman beleaguered by, horribleness. And Laura, of course, is um, asking after her because she can see how her mother looks.
Yeah.
And Amanda is just beside herself because this horrible thing happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
And um, we find out that she did not make it to her meeting
Mm-hmm.
because she had actually gone to the business school that Laura is attending.
Yeah. She had enrolled
And
Laura in a in like a school for
yes, which is why
typewriting. Yeah.
she is studying her shorthand and she's studying the typewriter diagram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she stopped there to talk to the teachers because Laura had a cold and she had wanted to go in and just check on Laura's progress. And when she went in, she found out that there was no student named Laura Wingfield enrolled.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that can't be. I enrolled her. There was tuition, $50 tuition paid.
It's a lot of money back then.
And yeah, and the teacher finally goes, oh, that might have been that really nervous girl that was here the first week. And it turns out that this whole time, Laura hasn't been going to business college.
Well,
She's
yeah,
been leaving the house.
she showed up to well, she showed up that first day, and
Hmm.
she, I guess, just being around different kinds of people, I think she even got ill there,
Yeah,
and
well, she
or
got so
felt,
nervous about they put her on the spot for something and she got so nervous that she threw up on the floor.
yeah,
And after that happened, she never went back. She
no,
was
she
very
was,
embarrassed.
yeah,
She was very stressed. And Amanda has no sympathy for this.
yeah,
Like none. She doesn't care. She's just upset that she's been lied to, upset at the wasted money, and upset that now Laura is not going to have the prospects
yeah,
of um this business degree,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, also for her pride too. I feel the mother's
Hmm.
pride. I find out that just to see how my daughter's progressing, and now I'm the Southern Belle, this the woman who has so much pride, finds out that her daughter's not really attending school. So I think, there's a part of her that feels that, it's a reflection on her. Or
Yeah.
it's a reflection of the mother.
She
So
does. She
yeah,
she absolutely takes it on as how she's embarrassed by this.
yeah,
Um so she decides to switch tacks with Laura. If Laura's not going to make something of herself to where she can make money for keeping them going, then the next thing is she needs to get married.
yeah.
And that is horrifying to Laura because she's not really someone who is outgoing. She
No.
doesn't, talk to a lot of people outside
Yeah.
of her family.
She's very introverted, and so introverted that she was just perfectly happy just going, like, she didn't go to this class, but she walked around the city. She went to like,
And sat in the park.
movies, she went to the park. Like, just very happy, someone living inside their own head. Which I think is a good thing, especially these days. But like that.
She visited the penguins every day. I liked that bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what she was doing, and her mother's like, "What? I've set you up," because I think the mom knows, it has an understanding that it's hard for her to just. She's worried about her daughter. She wants her
Hmm.
to amount to something in
Yeah,
society
I think
standards.
I think as clingy and oppressive as her kids may feel she is, she's doing it from where she thinks is a place of care. Um,
Hmm. Scrapplejack said it's all
and
about Amanda's worldview to Amanda, which is why Laura doesn't share. Yeah,
yeah,
it's 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 like how is Amanda and how are her kids reflecting her ideals and
hmm
you're an extension of me and if you can't do this then we're gonna get you married. It's like this have all she has all these plans instead of
hmm
listening to her kids. She's kind of have these plans in place.
yeah, and she asks her daughter, "Have you ever liked some boy? Like, has there never been a boy that interests you?" And Laura says yes, that there was one. Um, and this is where we first get mention of Jim. Jim
Mm.
was the high school hero.
Yeah.
He could do no wrong. He was the lead in Pirates of Penzance and at the school drama club. He, there's a picture of him lifting a silver cup from some sports thing he was a part of. Like he's just the high school hero. He is the golden boy of high school. And Laura had some interactions with him
Yeah.
and he had a nickname for her. He called her Blue Roses because he misunderstood when she said she had been out with an attack of pleurosis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
He misheard her and called her Blue Roses. So that's like this. It seems like this is the only interaction that she probably had in high school with this
with
guy.
a especially with a boy who was nice to her and he was a good looking boy. So um yeah, so Amanda's just like, well, if you're not cut out for business school, marriage is what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Um and Scrapplejack's absolutely correct. Amanda thinks she's Scarlet from Gone
yeah.
with the Wind.
We they do make a reference to Gone with the Wind here. But aside, at least Scarlett was. I think she had to kind of swallow her pride and go and do these kind of get her hands dirty and
Hmm
like protect her household and things like that. She shifted where I think Amanda is in denial of her existence. I think the
Yeah,
Scarlet knew her existence and changed. I don't think Amanda will change as easy.
no.
But yeah, so we it's just a little. This is some good information because this mentioning of Jim is gonna play a part in the later scenes of this play.
We also have a moment at the end of the scene where the mother kind of talks to the father. Not really, but she looks to the painting of him or the picture of him and she says, "Well, one thing your father had plenty of was charm." So it's this callback to the father that
Yeah.
happens a
Did
few
they did they
times.
did they did they give an explanation of the father this early on, Shiny? I wasn't sure.
No,
Because
not yet.
not yet. Yeah. Well, we learned a
No, I
little bit.
think it,
It's still she's
yeah,
still just looking at the picture and all that.
yeah. Um, well, no, she does talk about,
But that
she
telephone.
talks about how Laura, yeah, listens to the phonograph records that her father left.
Yeah, this is like the only
Um,
thing that it's kind of that's a little bit of a slide. Oh,
saying
you,
it's
oh,
the
you just
only
keep
thing they have from him.
yeah. The only thing, yeah, that like you've been playing those dreadful phonograph records over and over again. The one thing your father left you, or it's more like a like just I don't know. It's so weird. Like the mom, some things she thinks are admirable traits. Other things she just want to be reminded of his existence. It's
Yeah.
like it's either one or the other. I could never figure
I
out.
I I think it's that she just uses his memory in the way that she sees fit. If it
Mm-hmm.
benefits her to think to remember something good about him, she does. But if
Mm.
it benefits her more to talk about how awful he was, she does that. Um,
Yeah,
because
but it's
when we get into scene 3,
yeah.
um, there's a little bit of a fight between Amanda and Tom.
Yeah.
Uh,
What
Amanda,
yeah, what happens with this fight?
well, so Amanda has this
Is
well,
it
we start with Tom, right? So
yeah.
Tom is talking about how as soon as the thing happens with the business college fiasco, Amanda becomes obsessed with finding Laura a husband. This image of the gentleman caller haunts their apartment. Um, she like is talking about it, like it comes up all the time.
Yeah, like oh, now that
Um,
she's not going to be in business school, we have to find her gentleman caller. We have to. This has
yeah,
to happen, and it's like her next. It's almost as much as the mother brings up the 17 callers that
that she had,
apparently
yeah.
that she had. So she's just it's like her next thing. Um,
We all there's also a small bit where she speaks. This is where they talk about Scarlett O'Hara. She's calling up women about their subscription to a magazine.
yeah,
Um, and she mentions that there's going to be a new serial released in it, and it's going to be, everybody was talking about Scarlett O'Hara. Well, this is going to be bigger than Gone with the Wind. And the reason I think it's important to note this is because she steamrolls the people on the phone just like she steamrolls her family.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is clearly just, this is who she is.
yeah,
She
yeah.
talks over people and just tries to get where she wants to get.
And and if anything, if like some trait that I think it's a decent trait about her is like she doesn't sit and wallow. Maybe this is a little bit like Scarlett O'Hara. She invested money for her daughter to go in this business school that didn't pan out. The daughter didn't go, so she's like, okay, well, we need to get more money. We just can't be, if you're not doing business school, and we could be more of a strain on the family financially. So let me. She picks up this job to go work for this magazine to sell subscriptions on over the phone. So it was like
Mm,
she's very industrious. Um,
yeah.
but again, it's like I I see it as okay. She wants things to. She doesn't sit there and I think in the story too. She's a woman of action. She's a person of action,
Hmm.
and that's why she gets the job. That's why she's doing this. But that's a good point that Shiny makes about like she doesn't. That's her way of being. Maybe if she comes across rude, it's not always rude. She's just very direct,
Yeah.
and she wants things to be done. Um,
Yeah. Um, the scene then comes to it says the violent voices of Tom and Amanda. So there we enter with them in the midst of a fight.
yeah,
Um, you know, Tom says, "What in Christ's name am I?" And he doesn't even get that out because Amanda's immediately on him saying, not to use that expression. She pulls the "not in my house,"
mm-hmm,
which sets Tom off because Tom's the one paying the rent.
mm-hmm,
He's the one who works to keep them afloat. And but Amanda's not having that either. She's like, but so the fight is because she's found a book by Mr. Lawrence. I'm guessing is that what's his name?
D.H. Lawrence.
D.H. Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah,
So Tom's got this book by D.H. Lawrence. His mother's found it and she thinks it's filth. And she
yeah,
confiscated it. She got rid of it.
yeah. Like he's
Um
15 or something like that. This is like a
yeah, and he's a full-grown man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why she's like, I'm not going to have that filth in my house. And he's like, how,
Your
I
house.
pay the bills.
Yeah, I keep this place going.
Um, and he wants to, he just wants out. Oh, yeah, Lady Charlie's lover. I forgot about that one. Yeah, so he wants out. And he's like, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm leaving. And she's like, no, you will stay here and listen to me.
Mm, mm.
And he's like, no, I'm going out. And then she's like, but where are you going all the time? And he's like, I'm going to the movies.
Yeah, he. This is a constant. This is a little a habit that Tom has. He goes to the movies a lot, but this he goes to the
Every night.
movies every night. For some reason, I guess to clear his head, or he works. He
And he
works
goes
all
for
day,
hours.
hours at a time. Comes back super late. Sometimes he's drinking.
Hmm.
And this is just a habit that he has, and he just feels like I kind of I agree with him. Like he's like I'm paying the rent here. I'm doing
Hmm.
my duty as a man, and at this time, and I'm just going out afterwards because I feel like this is what I want to do. Why am I being questioned? So, but his mom and this whole
Well, his mom's upset because he comes home at 2 a.m. and then he's got to be up at like five
yeah
or six to go back out to go
yeah
to work.
and
And sorry. And
no, it's all right. No,
I was because Tom at this point is like he's so resentful of everything now that he's just like, you're always getting me up with this rise and shine. I can't take it. He can't even hear his mother speak to him without it annoying him now.
mm, mm-hmm.
And I think this this must be something that Tennessee probably felt quite deeply because
Yeah.
he too was responsible for his mother and his sister, and he wanted a different life, and I
Yeah.
think that breeds that resentment. Um,
And there's also and then the when I before I read this play, this is just more of like a beyond the text here. Before I read this play, I always thought there was these homosexual illusions that people talked about, and Tennessee Williams was he was a gay man in a time when it wasn't it could get you arrested, almost illegal in ways. So he lived in a secret life when growing up, and Tom, like, because he's going to the movies, like I think the mom is coming at Tom a bit, saying stuff like people don't go to the movies at nearly midnight. The movies don't let out at 2 a.m. Like, not saying like why, like what are you really doing?
mm,
And in this play, because of the time it comes out, I don't think he could. He has to speak in code. We
mm,
don't know if like the mom's complaints about him going to the movies all the time couldn't be. I mean, what kind of places are open? Like grindhouse places. These are
yeah.
theaters that show sexual movies and things like that. So and a lot of places where just they're havens for you know same sex activities and things like that,
Coupling.
drug use, coupling, things. Yeah. So it's like it's just I always thought it was cool, creative how maybe an author is trying to say more than what he's like trying to give allusions to something that you maybe
Hmm.
and probably and this is a pretty major play. So I was telling
Well,
Shiny,
it became
yeah,
his like first big success. So,
yeah, and even like with Breakfast at Tiffany's, when
hmm.
like the 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 man in that play or in that movie or in that book was a gay man, but they couldn't when the movie came out they couldn't put that. It was Hollywood couldn't handle that kind
Yeah.
of information back then. So um so that's why like this I think just like Tennessee Williams, just like Tom wants to have his own life. Like there's something he wants to. He's stuck in his job. He's working at his shoe factory. At night, he just wants to do his own thing. And his mom's coming down on him, and it's always worried. It's like he's like a little. He's in his house, but it's like the mom's yelling at his. It's like these kids are like 10 years old
Hmm.
to her. They can't do anything. You don't wake up down. You have to like rise and shine. It's like I don't know. The mom is acting like did you have your orange juice? Where's your jacket? And it's like all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, the fight ends with him calling her an ugly, babbling old witch.
ooh, yeah, that really digs at the mom.
He storms out, stumbling over things. Um, he ends up like striking out because he gets caught on something, striking out, hitting the shelf with all of Laura's animals on it. And so
Mm.
Laura, who has for the most part been trying not to get involved in this, suddenly is like, my glass menagerie. Like
It's
she,
a very
sh
heartwarming, like it's so sad. Like this is what she cares about. Like you could tell in the story. Like
yeah, it's the thing that she cares the most about, probably.
and Tom
And
knocks it into it.
Tom knocks it over. Yeah. Um, and Amanda, on Tom's way out, says she's not going to speak to him until he apologizes, which
Yeah.
I think probably was music to Tom's ears at that point.
Well, yeah, but then the like I'm talking about the heartwarming part is when Tom realizes that he knocks over the glass menagerie and uh, he goes and picks everything up. He does,
Yes.
it's like he's definitely pissed from at his mom. He is. I don't think he's thinking clearly. He's just very mad. But he stops through all that. He doesn't like he loved his sister and probably feels terrible that he knocked this thing down. Um, and
Yeah.
picks it up. It's just a nice moment of the play where you see that like maybe the antagonism is for really the mom, not
Yeah,
if
not for
he
Laura.
not for Laura. I think he cares deeply for Laura. So I was like, I just think it's a good scene to show the
Yeah, it
reader
is.
to show that dynamic and everything.
Yeah.
But that's how scene three ends. Um,
So then we get scene 4, which opens with Tom stumbling home
yeah,
in the wee hours.
he's been in the movies,
Hmm.
um, stumbling
With alcohol,
with
for sure.
alcohol. Yes, yes, he's
Um, but he wakes up, well, so he
well,
drops his key
he tries to open the
as he's
door.
trying to get in.
Yeah,
Laura wakes up and lets him in.
yeah.
There, I didn't mention this, but the entrance to their flat is off a fire escape. So when he's coming in up this, metal
Metal staircase.
grated staircase. Like it's not a quiet flat to enter
Yeah,
if you're not taking care.
and if you're
And of
drunk,
course, when he
you're making a
drops
lot of.
his keys, yeah, it falls much further because it's going through the spaces in between the rails. Um, Laura asks where he's been. He says, um, the movies. I just feel like he definitely is hiding something as much
Mm.
as he's like, no, it's just the movies.
And
It
Laura's
definitely
not.
reads like
Yeah,
there's more there.
and Laura's not naive. She's like all this time at the movies, like, and
Yeah,
we
because she's
talked.
been to the
Me and
movies.
Shiny just talked about this off stream. He he gives this very detailed. I'm gonna read it, the some of it because I
Hmm.
think it's important. Like, he goes, there was a very long program. There was a Garbo picture show and a Mickey Mouse and a travelogue and a newsreel of coming attractions, and it's like this guy comes out and does an organ solo, and then there was like some kind of promo for like a collection for like a milk fund, and then there was like someone singing, and then there was a fight, and when I read it, I'm like, this doesn't. This seems like a show that. Oh, there was a magician. There was someone
Yeah,
doing trick.
Malvolio.
Yeah, and it's like they were pulling people from the audience, and like this guy turned, he did a trick with bourbon and let the audience member drink the bourbon, and he knew it was bourbon because the audience member said so. It was just like this very elaborate kind of a show, and I like when I was tall and shiny.
But
It's
well,
just I was
but
what what would you
the
what
one
was
thing that sticks out there though is that he pulls from his back pocket a shimmering rainbow colored scarf, which leads me to believe there was a magician.
well okay. I'm not sure if the scarf thing. What's the bandana thing in in gay
Oh,
culture.
yeah, there was. Yeah, but I don't think that was in
That was
place
not.
yet.
No, but I'm saying like I don't know. We don't know if there was some kind of code, like
Maybe.
rainbow colored scarf shimmering from his back. I'm not saying. I'm not. Just I'm throwing it out there. I don't know. I was just thinking it's like why would it's just a really odd detail. He's like, oh yeah, this is I saw this show and this is I obtained this scarf from the show. Oh, you could have it. He gave it to Laura. But okay, but what I was trying to get at is it's like this seems like if audience members, this doesn't seem like a show that would be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
a show that would be in the daytime with people, like society, like not the people that would maybe frequent a theater at the the wee hours of a morning, doing God knows what. So again, another is this a fabrication? What's going on? Um, and it's again whatever it was. It seemed that this is duality. Tom's living this double life. He's kind of going out at night, doing this thing, getting drunk, going to the movies, and it's something that maybe it concerns Laura and concerns the
Mm-hmm.
mom especially.
Mm-hmm.
But Laura's there's like I love the fact that it goes from the fight with Amanda, his mom, and then goes to this. Like, it's a talking about the same thing. It's just handled differently because he cares about Laura more, or
Yeah.
he's more delicate with Laura. So it's
Yeah.
like even though I feel like the
He
accusations are the same, right? Like how
They
all
are,
this
but
time at
for
the
somehow from Laura it comes across more as caring. It's like the mother cares, but she can't get it across in her words.
hmm yeah, but it's like I feel like she's you're gonna use that. I'm gonna use that word again. You love Mara. Mara is the same reaction as the mom, but because of this love between Tom's empathy towards his sister,
hmm
it's like he's handling it. He's responding differently.
Yeah. Well, Laura's very sweet, and Amanda doesn't show
Yeah,
any sweetness.
no, it's just like more interior. Like I think Laura sounds probably just curious. Oh, that's a long
Yeah.
time to be at a movie. What's going on? What happened? And more is like, and then maybe the mom's like, that's a long time to be at a movie. Where you what are it sounds more accusatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Laura tries to shush Tom because he's making a bit of noise. Um, and he asks why, and she says, "Because you'll wake mother." And he loves that. He's like, "Good, get her back for all of the rise and shines."
I feel that. She's
Um,
waking me up.
yeah, he talks about how it it doesn't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed up coffin. Because that's one of the things that this guy did. And
That what guy did?
but he all
You didn't say it.
the magician.
Yeah.
But he also got himself out without removing one nail. Um, and he says, but the way he says is, but who in hell ever got himself out of one without removing one nail? And the stage notes here say that the father's portrait lights up at that moment. So it's like, well, the dad got out without removing one nail, you know?
I didn't make the connection. That's like you're saying. Like what is that? Like scotch free kind of thing. That
Yeah,
notion. Like oh
yeah.
he had this family and he it doesn't matter
I
what he
I might not have made the connection, but it says in the notes, it says, as if in answer, the father's grinning photograph lights up.
yeah.
Um, and this is like the last view you get as the lights fade down, and then it's 6 a.m. So,
hmm
whenever he came home, middle of the night, now it's 6 a.m.
It's late.
Um,
Late. Real late.
it's late.
The
Yeah,
church
he
bells
came
ringing.
in after, yeah, it's 6 a.m. now. Um, Amanda's about to get up and start her rise and shine. But Amanda is holding to this, not talking to Tom because she keeps saying to Laura, tell your brother this, tell your brother that, tell your brother this.
Mm.
Um, Laura, has been tasked with going out to get butter, and um she's like, please, Tom, just talk to her, just apologize so that things can get back to normal. Laura just wants peace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Laura, before she leaves, says to Tom, do what I asked. Will you? Will you, Tom? And he's like sullen about it, but when she's gone, um, well, we get another moment of their love because uh Laura rushes out and she trips, and uh Tom jumps up to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah. I love those little. I really
but
like those moments in there. It just shows like it's not really a lot. It's just like like Tennessee Williams does a good job of showing love through actions rather than
yeah.
just saying it. Like little stuff like that. He's just very attentive to the sister.
Um
Not so much to the mother, but the sister.
no, not so much as the mother. But after Laura leaves, Tom does apologize to his mother. Um and
The mom like breaks
they
down.
yeah, she sobs, and because she says that it's her devotion to her children that makes her hateful to her children. Um,
What do you think about that?
but well, I think she does love them. I think all of this does come from her love for them. She just doesn't
She's not
she doesn't
the
understand how that love is reading to them.
yeah.
Like I see it as very similar. Like my mom loves me, and she'll still make these little comments about things that I do, little judgments constantly. But it's because she believes that these are things that I need to change for my best interests. And I
Mm.
think that's what Amanda's doing. She sees it as love. She doesn't see it as, nagging or, being cruel to her children or not accepting them. She sees it as her way of loving them.
But it's like again, like it's just a little bit of a I wouldn't say a Christ complex. Is yeah,
Yeah.
a scrapple. It's because I died for your sins that you hate me. Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's
Mm-hmm.
like she does go into that mode though,
Mm-hmm.
saying instead of like I should have listened to you. Like it's a narcissistic trait. Like instead of saying
Mm-hmm.
hey. Thank you for apologizing. I messed up too. It's more it goes into her saying I've done this for you. It's not my fault. Like victim, she becomes a victim.
Yeah.
So
But she also, I highlighted, she also believes in them. Maybe sometimes more than they deserve. Not more than they deserve, but more than they're capable of. You
mm,
know, she
yeah,
believes that is perfectly fine enough to find a good husband.
yeah.
She believed before that Laura was perfectly capable of making it through business college.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't she doesn't allow for their faults. She just believes in them to this degree that they will succeed.
Mm.
Um and I think instead of that feeling like a good thing, instead of that feeling like my mom supports me and thinks I can meet all of my goals, they see it as my mom expects me to be something I can't be. You know, she's always expecting me to be like her or expecting me to be better than I am, you know?
I rather yeah. I like that better than it's not like she's trying to. She's not the baseball mom. Like oh my kid,
Yeah.
I failed baseball, so I want my kids to be to play the sport that I failed in. I don't think it's like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think she just she has
Mm-mm.
high aspirations for her kids and expects a lot from them. But also like
Um,
off the energy, like I don't know, there's something about the father. Like she has to prove something to like in a way, like maybe it's not stated clearly, but is a little bit like, let's see just show your father what we could do without him,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
which is not fair to put on the kids. Like that's her. Like if someone doesn't want to be in your life, you can't. Don't keep them in your life as like as a motivation. That's a complicated motivation. I think it's not good for a child to
No.
to just to spite somebody in the. I mean, they say, oh, that's a good, put that. That's good motivation to keep you going. I don't think it's the most healthiest motivation
No.
to spite somebody as a way for success. But I think she does
Yeah.
that. Like, why would she keep that? Why the guy left? Why are you keeping a picture like almost like his Jesus in the middle of the living room? It's just crazy to me. Um,
Yeah.
but that's the way it is.
Uh yeah, he's still the center of things even though he's not there.
yeah, yeah. Like
Um
what?
but she also, again, it's that thing where she uses him how she wants to, either
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
demon or as
Yeah.
an angel. And with Tom, she uses him as a demon, you know? She's like, I don't want you to turn out like your father, who was drinking all the time. And, she despite the fact that they've like made up, she comes at him again for this. You know, she's like, You've been drinking. Why do you go out every night?" And she talks about, because she wants to talk to him. She even says that she would have apologized if he hadn't, because she wanted to talk to him about Laura.
But that's what
And
she
she,
wants. Like
yes,
it's
that's what
like,
she wants.
yeah. It's it just makes me crazy. I feel like whatever's happened, this fight is happening. I feel like this fight happened before with her husband.
Yeah.
Not for the same topic, but for others. It's
Hmm.
the way she's acting. Like I'm not going to apologize until
Yeah.
he apologizes to me. I was like, well, you're kind of pushing away your son. The same way you pushed away your husband, probably,
Possibly. Yeah.
possibly. So I don't know. There's not a lot of like self reflection on her end, or the mother's end. And
Yeah.
she's making the same mistakes. She's going to push away her son. It's the way. That's
Well,
the.
we do get some more insight into Tom's movie going though, because she asks him why he goes to the movies, and he says, "I go to the movies because I like adventure, and adventure is something I don't have much of at work, so I go to the movies."
Yeah.
Um,
Brings up another theme:
and
class consciousness. Um, she like a lot of like seeing the limitations of your job,
mhm,
wanting to do something different. Um, not just boggled down by societal aims.
mhm,
He wants to live more authentically. He sees
mhm,
that his shoe factory job is doesn't make him happy. He's just a clog
yeah,
in the machine. So I liked it. He kind of goes into that. He got this like a monologue about it, but I'll read that when it comes up. But yeah, that's he goes. I just feel better. I need something different. I'm bored.
yeah, and Amanda's like, well, most men find adventure in their careers, and Tom's like, they don't work at a shoe factory.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, he does. He says, man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, a fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play at the warehouse.
yeah, yeah. That's in. It's. Let's want to make sure that's in Act 4, right? Scene 4.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still in scene 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I'm trying to find out that one part. Uh,
I think that comes later when he's talking
yeah.
to
I know the one
Jim.
the part that you told me about men. Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Oh, yeah.
It
I
does.
don't, because
And then her
it's
rebuttal
page
is
30 in my book, but I don't think it's the same for you.
yeah. It 64 in my end, but like her rebuttal is like man is by instinct. Don't quote instinct to me. Instinct is something that people have got away from. It belongs to animals. Christian adults don't want it.
Yeah, Christian adults
Oh my
don't
God,
want it.
she is in the and still in her society. not elevated.
Yeah, and
Uh,
she says, surely your aims are somewhat higher than theirs, animals, than monkeys and pigs. She's just she really she has no openness for Tom's views on life at all.
yeah. And I don't think Tom's like shooting for maybe the same goals as other people. I don't know. It doesn't
No.
say he. I mean, we do get. He likes to later in the story. We get some of his likes. He does like the movies. So I'm thinking. I mean, after this point, I know the rest of the story, but I'm saying like he likes the arts. Obviously, if he's going to the movies and enjoying, he likes the the movie the pictures. He likes those kind of things. So
Yeah.
he
In the original idea for the play, which did not get used in the initial stagings, but Tennessee Williams had wanted there to be screens that were, or a screen, and the screen would just look like the wall unless there was something being projected on it. Um, I have been to a ballet actually that used this technique. The staging was all a big white room. At ground level, there were doors all around, but at the top, it was just flat white. And occasionally, things would be projected on that
mm,
flat white wall.
yeah,
So it can work with very cool effects because
yeah,
when there was no projection, it just looked like a wall. As soon as there was a projection, it morphed into something more.
yeah.
Um, but when Tom is talking about adventure, there's a pirate ship with the Jolly Roger flying from it. So, you know, this pirate vessel kind of represents the adventure he's talking
Open
about.
water. Just wanted to carve out their own version of life, type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that's really in the plans of. That's not the kind of adventure that the mother has in mind. Like
No.
she views
But
success as like some kind of, again, like these. She comes from plantation society. These are people who who went
they
into the
plant.
stock.
They
They plant. They went to the
they
stock
stay there.
market. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have jobs that are not this. They can't be just jobs. They have to be jobs that are society acknowledges uh, as symbols of success. Like it's not like it, I think like a being, even if he wants to be an actor, I feel like that would be an orthodox view of success
Yeah.
for the mother. I think this mother has this very rigid view of what she feels is the, like, I guess the American dream. I guess
Yeah.
like this kind of falls into Scrapple Jack's comment here. She lives in a fantasy and believes in her fantasy version of you, which is oppressive. Yeah, like if you don't fit in that world, then it's almost, she wants, not. It's not like she's pushing him out, but she wants to mold him to fit
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
idealized
Well,
lifestyle.
and she admits during this conversation that she's seen a letter to Tom from the Merchant Marines. So he's obviously been applying to join them, which is probably as close to being a pirate as he can get at that point,
Yeah,
joining the Merchant Marines, because then he would be traveling. Um,
but again, like you would, okay, is I would, I don't know, how would that be admirable? I mean, how would it not be admirable? You're in you're a marine, you're a
because,
soldier.
well,
Would that
so
it
they
represents him leaving, just like the father?
Yeah, he would
Okay.
he would be gone just like the father, because the father, she says, fell in love with long distance.
Yeah.
And
He
it
he
seems
he
like
worked for
Tom
the
also
phone.
wants long
I love that line. He
distance.
worked for the phone
Yeah,
company and he fell in love with long distance.
yes.
That's
So
like the best response to Papa was a Rolling Stone. I like that better.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
I
Yeah,
think.
he worked for the phone company and he fell in love with long distance. Um so yeah, I think for her, she sees Tom as just one to leave. And she says to him, "Do you know what? Once your sister's married and taken care of, you can go. You can just go." but you have to look after us until that time comes.
which is
Um,
unfair. Um, which is a lot to put on your.
mhm.
I think it was more acceptable back then. I don't think
Yeah.
you have to convince Tom to look after his sister. But it's almost like we've had this conversation, Shiny. Is you don't want to feel obligated to do something.
Yeah.
You don't want to be told to do something nice. You want to do something nice out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
But like when it's like yes, I think
Well, but
any
the
like
second it becomes expected, like, oh,
expected. Oh, you have to
Shiny's
say
gonna keep doing that because she's done it before.
yeah, exactly. And I think that
Then
her
you're trapped in it, right? Then
or
it's no
yeah
longer my choice. It's I have to do this because it's expected of me.
yeah. Well, I think if he's doing it this far, I mean, okay, he's going to work, he's working, he's doing it, he's in this job he hates, but he's doing it because it helps us, that keeps the lights on and all this stuff and pays for the rent and all this.
Hmm.
But again, if the mother's expecting it, then I think that's going to drive him away.
Hmm.
Even though like he's like I will do this. I get that. Like I'm doing something because I have the kindness of my heart, but to be reminded
Hmm.
of it would kind of piss me off too. Like
Yeah.
this because it's almost like to remind me to if you're implying that I don't think about it, that I never thought about it. Of course, he
Yeah.
like wouldn't that cross your if you were the breadwinner and you were doing these things because like it was like I guess you thought it was maybe unethical for to leave your sister and your mom. Like you did these things,
Yeah.
but to be told, well, you have to stay here. I was like, so you're saying that I never thought about it, or like you don't think I know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That would yeah, that would just kind of that would have an
Well,
adverse effect on my attitude going forward.
and I know that I come from a vastly different time, but I still seem to be odd one out with a lot of my friends and people that I know in that I feel no obligation to look after my parents. I
Mm-hmm.
did not ask either of them to be born. That was a choice they made. They can't guilt me into saying I have to look after them because I didn't choose to like they could have just as easily not had me. I wouldn't be here. It was their choice. Their choice. So I don't feel like they can say, "Well, we looked after you your whole life, so now you have to look after us." No, because I'm grateful that they did, but I didn't force them to. That was a choice that they made. And I know a lot of other people don't have that. They have duty to their families.
Yeah.
They believe that they must look after their aging parents. That is their job. And I don't fault them for that at all. Just because I happen to have a vastly different view doesn't mean that I fault others for having that view. And I support them in it. My partner has that view and looks after his mother. I think that at this time that was the expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
look after your family and that includes your sister if your sister isn't married.
Mm.
Um
Yeah.
so I think it's not just Amanda putting that pressure on Tom. I think it is the societal norm as well.
Yeah.
It's
I
why Tom feels guilty and can't leave.
yeah.
Um
He's volleying like it's like he volleys this whole should I say or go like
mhm.
back and forth like you said guilt not knowing how to handle all of this but also like trying like I don't if he's going out and doing things at night and kind of getting even if he okay if he's sitting there watching movies at night he's
Mhm.
obviously he's dreaming about something he wants something more this
Mhm.
and so it's I'm a firm believer of like if you repress something, it's gonna come up somewhere else. So if
Yeah, for sure.
if he's not happy in his job, this is like his. This is where this energy is going towards. He's just kind of going out at night. He's just living in the fantasy world, very much like the sister too in ways. Like that's a common trait between both of them. They have these like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of imagination,
Mm-hmm.
living in their own world, a world that doesn't really accept them so much.
Yeah.
I think they're both independent thinkers. We'll learn that more later on in the scenes with the sister.
Yeah.
And also
But
about Tom
the
too.
we can't neglect to mention here because they have this big conversation, but the real meat of it is one thing that Amanda wants from Tom. And he's like walking out the door before she gets this information to him, because he's got to go to work. And all what she wants from Tom is for him to bring home somebody from work, a man that might be suitable for Laura.
Is
Um,
that normal?
and well, if you have an older brother, then yeah, you would kind of, he's the only one leaving the house every day who's hanging out with other men of a young marriageable age. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think, that's probably the way that you would meet men as in Laura's place. So,
Yeah, I think that's like again, if anything, his mother is a person of action. She just this is good. This is the only way this could happen. My daughter's not going
mhm.
out any like she's not going to a bar.
Yeah, she's not
She,
going anywhere to meet men, so
yeah,
I've got
we're gonna
to
bring men here.
bring men here exactly. Which is, obviously the way she met men because she had all of those gentlemen callers. So,
Yeah, that's another. Like I said, her kind of pining for the past. Like,
mhm.
oh, a real woman doesn't have to look for a man. The men come to the woman, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the scene ends the way that it starts with her hounding someone on the phone to
yeah,
take up their
that's good. I
their
like that you
magazine
mentioned that. That
subscription.
kind of that like I was like I'm glad like that her attitude plays into a pushy salesperson.
Hmm.
She's always trying to just figure something out. It's like she's always moving, an opportunist. Always got something planned. Always has a hustle going or something. And this is and then like now this is like the okay this is the big question. This is gonna work now. You're gonna find Tom. You're gonna go to work and you're gonna find somebody and then this is how we're gonna solve this. It's like I don't know this dopamine rush,
Yeah.
mover and a shaker kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so we move on to scene 5 and we come into the apartment where they've just finished uh dinner.
Yeah.
Um, Tom is getting up to leave the table, and Amanda's already on him about something. She wants him to comb his hair. She says that, there's only one respect that she wishes him to follow in his father's footsteps, and that is that he take more care with his appearance. Um,
Again, like you said, she's picking and choosing what traits she likes about her.
mhm.
Um, about the husband.
And this annoys Tom, and he, is he's ready to stomp out. Um, and Amanda asks where he's going, and he says he's going to smoke. And then Amanda comes up with this thing about if he would smoke less, he would have more money, and that money could be spent on night school. So,
Oh, she broke
she's
it. She
again
also
pushing him.
she broke it down the figures.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. She said it's 15 cents a pack. And how much would that amount to in a month? So 30 times 15, how much would that be? And she's like, that would be enough for you to take a night class.
Yeah,
And Tom's just like, I'd rather smoke.
yeah. I get it. For
um,
15 cents a pack, I probably smoke too. Shit.
And that would be the end of our friendship. Anyway, moving on.
I would not. I would not do it. I'm just in theory. This is very cheap for cigarettes. Very
It
cheap.
is very cheap for cigarettes. Very, very cheap.
Yeah.
That's before they got taxed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
um, yeah, so um, they now have music coming in. So music does play a big part in this play. We haven't really talked about it, but there is a theme, the Glass Menagerie, that is played around things having to do with Laura. And I don't know if any of you were here for the Streetcar Named Desire chat, but music played a big role in that as well.
Yes. Yes.
One particular song was playing whenever Blanche was having a mental breakdown, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and we get that with the Glass Menagerie. This theme plays when Laura is having a moment of fragility or vulnerability. But now there's music coming from the dance hall across the way,
Yeah.
and Tom explains this to the audience that there's this dance hall and the music is playing there, and he kind of belittles it in the fact he's like, Spain has Guernica and we're dancing. And Guernica was where the revolution in Spain was happening. Pablo
Yeah.
Picasso painted a big painting about it. it there were horrible things happening in Spain at that time.
But it
You
was
know,
like, but yeah, people were like, I guess, like class consciousness. People were coming together, going against the powers that be, and
mhm,
he's kind of seen it like, okay, this music plays from this hall, the lights turn, kind of, it opens up the windows. They open up the windows there. The light seeps onto the street. People are, kind of bathed in this light. There, couples come out into the alley. They're dancing, kissing, enjoying the night sky, well, and each other. And it's like this, like very, I don't know, like calm, like a little, like a little space of
mhm,
happiness. But he sees it as like, God, it's like it's like, why are we accepting these little morsels of freedom here, like happiness? We should kind of, if more people thought like me, we could band together and just overthrow all these, like, I don't know, tycoons of industry. Like we want to just,
mhm,
we want to do something different. We want to be more. We're more than a factory job. He wants that, and now that I'm reading it, I compare it to, like, in, I guess, in slavery times, you had like, when they would, like, a lot of times when slaves would get married and they were still like,
mm,
in servitude, they would like have these little marriage ceremonies, and they would like it would call, like, jump the broomstick. Remember that?
jump the broom.
Yeah, jump
Yeah,
the
jump the
broom, and like they
broom.
would have like these celebrations, and it would be like parties, and it's usually was some as horrible as like this. Usually the plantation owner wants to breed the slaves so they can get better offspring to become more
Mhm,
slaves. So it's like not good, but it's like, it reminds me of that. Like, but like it becomes like a party. It's a wedding, but it's like in the slave quarters. So it's like people they
mhm,
have food. They like prepare a wedding. They're they're in shackles most of the day, but for this one Sunday, they're having a great time. And almost like this is supposed to like, he's pretty much saying like, this dancing in the streets and listening to this music and kissing a little bit is supposed to make us forget that we're living in these tenement houses, and we're not getting paid that much, and we're oppressing ourselves. Like, he's like, this is cheap. Like, why? I'm not going to accept these little moments here. I'm not gonna. This not. It's not gonna make it better for me. Like, it's almost a
yeah,
distraction. Like, oh yeah, oh, the music's like, oh, the music's playing, and we're having a good time. We're having this party, but back on Monday, we still go back to the same drudgery.
yeah,
And he sees that. He's like, I'm not falling. Yes, it's pretty, but I'm not getting distracted by this temporary happiness.
yeah.
I want to be. I want a full revolution. So Tom is like
Yeah.
not. He's a forward thinker, and I'm sure like this is Tennessee Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
His mentality. This is him. Um,
Um, yeah, but something I think is interesting, and maybe we can discuss this actually, is so Tom does what Amanda asks of him, right? He finds somebody to bring home. Um, and I I acknowledge that he followed through, but I was like, but why did he follow through? Do
hmm.
you think it's because if he gets it right, you know, if he brings home somebody and they take Laura off his hands and then he won't have to deal with his mother anymore, he can be free? Or does he do it for Laura? Because maybe, you know, it'd be good for her to have someone and, you know, then she wouldn't maybe have to put up with Amanda so much.
I
I'm
think
interested what you think.
I think that he it's the easiest way for him to jump ship, literally, and
Mm,
what that with less the 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 least amount of guilt. Oh, my
mm,
sister got
mm-hmm,
married. This guy's gonna take care of her. I know how much help she needs. He will, this person will provide that. I don't even think that like he gets along with this person in the job. It's just easier for him. I already feel that he's thinking he wants out. I mean, if you're thinking like the
mm-hmm,
way he's thinking about, he sees the limitations of his job. He's
mm-hmm.
depressed. He's you can't. There's certain things you could, I guess, get out of your system, but this is not. This
Yeah.
is like this kind of thinking leads to big changes in your life. You can't. This is paradigm shifts. So
Mm,
he like this is like I said, there's people who are in their jobs. They see their jobs as a means to an end. They're fine. They don't want to make any. They're not trying to make any noise. Just do their job, come home, live their life. He can't. He already saw. He sees the smoke and mirrors. So
mm-hmm.
he can't. I don't think it's. I don't think it's possible for him to stay.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't know. And
Yeah.
this is just the easiest way for him to do so.
Yeah. I also want to note here that he's done what Amanda asks. He is
Yeah.
bringing someone home for dinner to meet Laura, and Amanda is still unhappy because he hasn't allowed her enough time to prepare.
Yeah.
Because he tells her, oh, it's going to be tomorrow. And she's like, tomorrow? I have to do all these preparations. Laura needs a new
Yeah.
dress. I need to, you know, dress up the living room. We have to get food. Like, so, and Tom's like, it's not that big a deal, Mom. It's just dinner. You know, we're just, don't make such a fuss. And she's like, this could be your future brother-in-law. I'm gonna have to make a fuss, you
Yeah.
know?
I also think that the mom doesn't realize how much of a rut she's in either. I think she's in
Mm,
denial. I think that she wishes she was back in the time of prominence for her, which was probably when she was very young and men looked for and be prior to being with the father. This when he was during a time, and so she had to like find these little things. It's almost like I had a boss that used to get those deal a day sites. He used to go
mm-hmm,
in and buy like just get like there's like the random coupons for stuff, and he would just get it was like an email list, and he would just go, "Ooh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. That's the best deal." And he would just sit there
mm,
and he's like, I got five polo shirts for the price of one, and I got this 18 pack of LED light bulbs, and you can't get that deal anywhere. The only reason he was getting that deal is because he was looking for it, and he doesn't really need it. It was
yeah.
less about the
Yeah, he doesn't need those, but
it was
he's
the rush of finding.
it
It was
was a
just
great deal,
it
so
was distracting. The deal enough was distracting for
yeah.
him, and I don't think he was. I don't like this. I think his wife hated him, and his kids could care less. So like that was just a way for him to whatever dopamine rush was the next. And I feel like, okay, we need to find something for a sister, for my daughter. And then now there's a guy coming, and she's like, oh my goodness, what do I do? It's like another thing to be obsessed about. Now she's
Hmm.
changing the drapes and getting. She's like getting all this stuff from the grocer. I mean, it comes out later that they don't have a lot of money, and like
Hmm.
I think at one point in the story, like Laura has to go to the grocer. I think it might be in this scene actually, and she's like, "Mom, I don't like when whenever he asks to put something on credit,
Oh, on credit, yeah.
the grocer rolls his eyes.
Gives
I
Yeah,
don't
he
like the
gives them a
look.
look.
I don't like the look he gives me. So it's like they, again, not thinking, more on this rush of excitement. Oh, someone's coming over,
Hmm.
and Tom's like, "Is this the dude from work?
Yeah.
It's not
It's just the dude from work.
fucking this guy acting like Elvis Presley's showing up." Um, but yeah, tell us what this. So they're going through the preparations. Um,
Yeah. There's a really good line that Amanda says. Um, she says, "You are the only young man that I know of who ignores the fact that the future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret if you don't plan for it."
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Again, it's like, what is that? Some another reference to like her? Like I could have been married to a planter.
yeah,
Like I messed up. I married your father.
yeah.
I could have
I
done.
married your father. He left me,
I could have done.
and you know,
It was maybe it was in my cards to
but
be this Southern Belle.
I think it's false of her to think that because that life disappeared.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's a
they're already in
delusion.
a time when that doesn't exist anymore.
No, that whole society is gone. So
Yeah.
even if she can't, she couldn't even like can't even like the only way she could relive it is in her mind, which is like this is
Yeah.
again I can't wait. I'm going when I go back to school. This is what I'm gonna try to do my research on.
Yeah.
I can't wait. But yeah, I just like the fact that she's pining for something that doesn't exist anymore, but only in her mind, and then it makes her, I think, have extreme psychosis.
Yeah.
It's like
She's
very similar
she's
to Blanche.
concerned she's concerned about, like, that's another thing, is that, Tom is bringing home this man, but
Yeah.
she's like asking all these questions about him as well. Does he drink? Does this happen? Does that happen?
Mm.
And, what's his job? What are his prospects? And Tom's like, I just did what you asked. I'm bringing somebody,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, well, if he's a drinker, he can't be like that. Your father was a drinker, and like and
yeah,
she goes like, how you. She even goes to the to the extreme and says, oh, you know how you find out if they're a drinker or not, or to find out their personality. You have to go to their church, and you have to talk to the
mm-hmm,
deacon, or
mm-hmm,
you got to talk to a priest, and they probably seen them grow up, and they can give you a fair assessment. You should go to find out what church he goes to,
yeah.
and then find get
But
like a nice write up of something
about him, yeah, like
like
find out from his vicar what he's like.
crazy.
He does give his mother something she's quite pleased about. He tells his mother um that this man, James O'Connor, is going to night school for radio engineering and public speaking. And Amanda
Yeah.
loves
Oh,
this
she freaks
because
out.
to Amanda, this means that he has, a vision of
Prospects.
becoming greater. Yeah. Um,
That's enough for her.
yeah, but then Tom drops this bombshell on her. By the way, he doesn't know about Laura. I just invited him to dinner. I didn't invite him to come to dinner to meet my sister.
Mm.
So, um, Amanda's like, well, that's fine. He's gonna meet Laura and he's gonna fall in love. That's gonna be it.
Wow. See,
Um,
see,
but
you got to
Tom
plan it
is
out.
like, yeah, yeah. Oh no, this is what I mean by she has way too high expectations for things.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but Tom's like, you need to not expect so much from Laura. We love her. We know how great she is, but we don't even notice that she's a crippled. And Amanda is like, don't say crippled. I never allow that word to be used. She doesn't want to acknowledge the reality of the situation. She
Mm-hmm.
just wants to see Laura as, her lovely daughter, not her lovely daughter who has some faults, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Again, but I don't know if that's her. I don't know if that's her pride. I'm trying to
Possibly.
feel. I'm trying to feel like is that her love for her child or the love, like thinking how it reflects on herself, her
Yeah.
the defects of her or perceived defects of her kid, her daughter. I'm trying to figure out. I still think she's self centered.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
peel it back to
yes.
layers.
Yes, but I do think she's also in denial because she's like, well, because Tom calls Laura peculiar and Amanda does not like that.
Mm.
And he's like, you have to face the facts. And she's like, tell me how she's peculiar. In what way is she peculiar? And Tom's like, she lives in a world of her own with little glass ornaments. Like that should be enough for you right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then, he's ready to leave again. Tom is
Mm.
always out the door. And he's like, Amanda's like, where are you going? And he's like, I'm going to the movies. It's just,
That's gonna be my exit. I'm going to
it's like, you
movies.
just be like, I'm going to the movies. um, and then, Amanda calls to Laura because Laura has been there the whole time while they're talking about her, but she's in the kitchen washing the dishes after dinner. And Amanda calls her out because she and Tom had been standing outside looking at the moon.
Mm.
And she calls Laura to make a wish on the moon. Um, and Laura just wants to make her mother happy. And she's like, well, what should I wish for?
Mm.
And Amanda's like, well, happiness, good fortune, whatever. Like Amanda or Laura doesn't even know what she should wish for. She
Yeah,
just
that's her mother's plans.
her mother's plans exactly. And that's how we end scene 5.
Yeah.
So we
We're plugging along
on to
here.
6.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's 2 more, right?
Yeah, 6 and 7's all that's left. Although
Longer
these
chat.
are weighty ones.
Weighty,
Weighty ones.
weighty ones. We get a lot of information here.
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, there were meant to be screens while the play was going, and these screens would have images that would pertain to what's happening. Um, and Tom is telling us that he is bringing home Jim. So he mentioned that the guy's name was James O'Connor. Obviously, James can go by Jim. And he's bringing home Jim, who he's known slightly since high school. If
Yeah.
anyone was paying attention, they might recognize that there was a Jim in his high school. And the screen image at that point is of the high school hero.
Yeah.
So
This
this
guy
is our
was.
first hint that Jim is the Jim that Laura spoke about.
Yes, Laura didn't really know
Um,
anybody in high school. Just a little refresher. She
mhm.
connected with this guy Jim. Jim was like Mr. Popular. He gave her had a nickname called her Blue Roses, and doesn't just had this, and I don't know. It seemed like it almost seemed like the Laura liked him because I think it could have been anybody.
It was
It,
because he was nice to her.
he was nice to her, and that's like that was the only person that was seemed like that acknowledged her. So of course, like she's probably like, I don't. This is a sad part to me, a little bit. Like I think at the beginning of the story, the mother's like, do you love him, or something like that, and she's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't. She couldn't
yeah,
figure out she loved him. She was like, I don't know. But I think she just, if she felt good just being for someone that's so introverted, someone who is living their life in their head, for someone that's to another person to acknowledge them may feel
hmm
like love to them. but I don't know if they could.
I I so identified with Laura in that instance because I was very like that. I was very like that. I when I was in high school, if someone was nice to me, immediate crush. It's like, "Oh, that's it. This is the boy for me." Because I wasn't it's not that I wasn't that I didn't have friends and people weren't nice to me, but I was just not I never got attention from anybody, really. I always
Yeah,
say I
yeah,
was in the background. That's what I did. And so if somebody started paying attention to me, it was like, "Oh, this is it. They must like me."
yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of identify with Laura in that regard.
Mm.
And understand why she would be like that. Nobody in this high school is paying attention to her. This one good-looking guy, you know, is nice to her, gives her a nickname. Of course, she like feels a connection there. Um, we find out though that Jim is the only person that Tom is kind of on friendly terms with um at the warehouse.
Yeah.
And there was a really good line here. It says, I was valuable to him, being Jim, as someone who could remember his former glory, who had seen him win basketball games and the silver cup in debating.
Yeah.
And Jim
Oh.
knew of his secret practice of retiring to the cabinet of the warehouse to work on poems when business was slack. So
Yeah.
these two, you know, Jim Jim keeps Tom around because Tom remembers his greatness, Jim's greatness, and Tom stays on Jim's good side because Jim knows what he's been up to in the storeroom at work.
Well, I mean, it's just also so like oh, like this guy is talking about me. Oh, cool. Um,
Hmm.
is with him too is also this thing like are you do you really have a friend or is it someone acknowledging you? So that's why you
Yeah.
like them. Like I
Yeah.
don't I like if I as the scene develops, I don't see Jim and Tom as friends. I mean, we could like I don't know. I just when I'm hearing them talk, I'm like, this seems like the kind of exchange that between them. I don't know. This seems like someone you know. It doesn't
Hmm.
seem close.
No, I
This
don't think they're close at all.
yeah, but again, it's like is how you're perceived. Like Tom sees Jim like he's the only one that say, "Hey, oh, you're that guy," and Jim's like, "Ooh, that feels good. I like you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
cool. Are you cool because you're only cool because you're someone's talking about you?
Yeah.
Like it's just was
Well,
weird. It kind
and
of
Tom knows
yeah
that Jim and Laura knew each other, but he doesn't know if Jim remembers Laura.
yeah. But this is one of those things where it's or do you really make connections or are you just hanging on you just hang on to people that say things that you wish people said about you.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. He likes that Tom remembers. I get the impression that Jim's this guy who was at the top of his game in high school.
Yeah.
And then high school's over and
And then
he
that's it.
doesn't go anywhere from there.
Yeah.
He ends
Yeah.
up as a clerk in a warehouse.
Mm.
And clearly he has, as we see as this progresses, he has aspirations for more. And Tom is a reminder of when he was more, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Um it's weird how some and I'm not going a super tangent, but it's weird how some people they 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 never want to leave that attention
Mm.
they get in high school. They got to figure out
Mm-hmm.
like a lot. I think a lot of people I remember being like really super popular in high school. I see them after high school, and it's some like they're just always trying to hang out with the friends they had in high school and do
Yeah.
these kind of events. And I'm like, this it kind of is a little cringy.
Yeah.
I find they didn't look the same. Like they were like really super popular kids in high school, but then they just seemed like kind of hanging on to the past. They seemed
Yeah.
forgotten or out of place. in the world. Like you see them at the grocery store. I don't. I mean, I live in a place where I didn't grow up, so it's different. But like, I'm sure if I grew up, went back to my hometown, these now I would view those people differently.
You would find at least one or two of them still there, you
Oh,
know.
of course. Yeah, shit, my little town. Oh, yeah. But like, it's cool. It's just, I don't know. I just think in Tennessee is this, it's like making another societal reference where
Yeah.
do we keep the people around to just echo the things that we want to hear?
Yeah.
Like that's the reason we keep them around, just to so we could kind of be reminded. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
So we
they're
have
at this house. So they're they he brings him over, right?
yeah, yeah. And as they're so it's important to note that Amanda is getting Laura ready.
Yeah, yeah.
She she's making her a pretty trap, which just sounds
Oh
awful.
God.
Um, but as they're getting ready, um, she mentions or Laura says, what did you say his name was? And she says O'Connor. And Laura asks what was his first name. She goes, I don't remember. Oh yes, I do. It was Jim. And Laura
She
is
like saw a
like,
ghost. She's like
oh yeah,
Jim.
she's like, not Jim. She's like, yeah, yeah, it was Jim. Um, and Laura's like, are you sure his name is Jim O'Connor? She's like, yeah. And Laura now makes the connection that this is the Jim she knew.
Yeah. No.
And now she is done with the whole thing. She can't come to dinner. She says, she simply can't be faced with him. Um,
She's nervous.
and
The
yeah, she's really nervous, but she also, she's like, I can't sit there at the table if it's him. And Amanda's like, oh, it's not him. Don't worry about it. And you absolutely will sit at the table,
yeah, yeah.
and you're going to answer the door.
And then the door
And Laura's
rings.
like,
I mean, the door.
no,
The door
don't.
gets someone
Yeah, the
knocks on the
doorbell
door,
rings like at
and he's
that
like,
moment.
and
So
she
she's
scatters
like,
like a rat.
yeah, she's gone. And they keep knocking at the door. And Amanda's like, go answer the door, Laura. You need to. And Laura's like, I'm sick. And
Right.
Amanda says, I'm sick too of your nonsense. Why can't you and your brother be normal people? Fantastic whims and behavior. So
Yeah.
again, Amanda just wants her kids to be what she thinks they should be.
Yeah.
And that's clearly not what they are.
Yeah. It was weird because when Amanda when the mom and Tom had a fight, she said something about her like, "Oh, my kids are different, and I love that they're unique, and
Hmm.
that's why that's the stamp they're gonna put on the world." And now she's like, "I hate that my kids are weird." I was like, oh, "You just said you
Yeah.
like them. It's just you contradict yourself."
It always just depends with Amanda on what
Yeah,
point she's trying to make at
yeah.
any given point.
Mm-hmm.
But she finally, when Amanda puts her foot down, Laura does do what she says. And Laura goes to the door and um, answers it. And there is her Jim.
Yeah,
Um, and Jim doesn't seem to recognize her. He calls Tom Shakespeare, so he says, I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister. Um, and Jim's really outgoing. He's really friendly.
yeah,
Um, Laura is just like a deer in headlights, and she wants to scatter at the first chance she gets. And she does. She's like, excuse me, I have to go play the Victrola. I wasn't done playing the Victrola. I've got to go play the Victrola.
that's a very
She
shiny,
dashes
a
off.
very shiny move.
It is yeah, I would absolutely do that.
I have to do crochet now. Bye.
um so Jim's like, whoa, what's the matter with, what's the matter? And Tom's like, oh, she's just really shy.
Mm.
Um, but that's no problem for Jim. Um, they go ahead and like they're talking, and this is, I think, where Tom uh talks about the movies. Yeah, it's coming up. But before we get to that, there is a moment where Jim says that Mr. Mendoza, who is the boss at the warehouse, was speaking to me about you.
Oh,
And Tom
yeah.
says, favorably. And Jim says, what do you think? Tom's like, well, and Jim says, you're going to be out of a job if you don't wake up. And Tom says, I am waking up.
Yeah,
And
I
Jim
love that.
says, you show no signs. And Tom says, the signs are interior.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. It's like they have it's like social, like class consciousness. Like he is woken up. He sees the system for what it is, and he wants out.
mhm.
Um, but Jim is incapable of this. He's hooking. Like he loves. He wants to play by the rules and do everything you're supposed to do and be a
Well,
success
and he wants out of that job too, but he wants out of it
for a different way. For this,
in the
so
right way.
well, in the right, yeah, perceivably,
What he sees as the right way, or
yeah, yeah,
society sees as the right way.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, then Tom says that he's going to make a change. He's right at the point of changing things. But this future that he has doesn't include the warehouse, Mr. Mendoza, or even a night school course in public speaking. And that's when he starts to talk about the movies. I don't know if this is the bit you were talking about, Itchy.
yeah. I just like it. I mean, I don't have to go into it, but once you read some of it, I just like the way it sounds. I think it's a
Okay.
good point.
Yeah. So Tom says, I'm tired of the movies. And Jim says, movies? And Tom says, yes, movies. Look at them. And he waves towards Grand Avenue. Um, all of those glamorous people having adventures, hogging it all, gobbling the whole thing up. You know what happens? People go to the movies instead of moving.
Yeah,
Hollywood characters are supposed to have all the adventures for everybody in America, while everybody in America sits in a dark room and watches them have them. Yes, until there's a war. That's when adventure becomes available to the masses. Everyone's dish, not only Gable's. Then the people in the dark room come out of the dark room to have some adventure themselves. Goody goody. It's our turn now to go to the South Sea Island, to make a safari, to be exotic, far off. But I'm not patient. I don't want to sit till then. I'm tired of the movies and I'm about to move.
I love that. That's makes all the sense. I should read that every
Mm.
morning.
You should. That'll get you going.
Yeah,
Um, and he explains further that he's boiling inside and he needs to get away from shoes in the warehouse. And he lets Jim in on a secret that he's
yeah.
just like his father. He's the bastard son of a bastard, and he's going to leave. He
This was a little bit of a surprise for me. I was surprised he was so brazen with. I don't. I felt like prior to this he was very secretive about any of his plans, but for some reason
Yeah.
with Jim, he's just like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go to the Merchant Marines.
Yeah. And he admits that he paid his dues by not paying the light bill.
Yeah, it's like this brag. Um,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not sure how I felt about that. Um, uh, I feel like this is like a little passive aggressive. Like he's saying, "Yeah, I'm leaving. This is what I'm doing." Because
Do you know when
I
I
think he's a
think
little
this
hurt.
happened?
Because when Jim said that the when Jim said the work is talking about him.
No, no, no. I think when he made this decision to pay the dues was when he was having that fight with his mother.
Oh, and then maybe he came home drunk
Hmm.
because he was that distraught. And
Yeah. I
for
I
oh, I
think
see, I see, I
he
see.
had that fight with his mother and it just pushed him and he didn't feel guilty about not paying the light bill because his mother had pissed him off. And so he was like, "That's it. I'm doing it. I'm going." This was the last time she does that to me. I don't
But
know that for a fact.
but
That's just
I
when
also
I
see
read
it as,
it.
yeah, I also see it as like him being a little upset. Like I busted my hump at this job, and then my boss is like has something to say. I that's that would when I like some person at work or some superior like says something about my job, I'm just like, yeah, I get mad too. I can see like
Mhm.
I could see the
Mhm.
venom coming out. I was like I identify with it. Like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
and I don't think like he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna talk about me and this job I hate. Oh good, well this is what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't think he would say that to his sister.
No.
Something about Jim, the way he came down to him or like criticized him.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jim was trying to motivate him. I don't know. That wouldn't motivate me. Oh, the boss is talking about you.
No. No, I think Jim was trying to motivate him. I think Jim was or warn him at the very least. Um but yeah, I think maybe that's why. I also think Tom's dying to tell someone.
Yeah,
And he can't tell his mother and he can't tell his sister because that would hurt her feelings. So I think the fact that he's got Jim there, he's just like, finally, I can admit to what I'm doing,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Um, but Jim kind of almost doesn't believe him. He's like, "You're not gonna do that." And he's like, "Oh, here comes my mom. We got to stop talking about this." Um, and Amanda, Amanda's gotten her old dress from when she was um, a debutante. It still fits her, and she is wearing it.
Oh God.
It must be terribly out of fashion, but she has decided it's fine. It's the best thing she's got. She spent money on getting Laura a new dress. She can't do that for herself. So, but it's like she puts on this dress and she becomes her younger self.
Oh, she's in the fantasy. This part
Yeah,
reminded
now
me
she's,
of this reminded me of like the mom that hits on the boyfriend of the
yes,
daughter kind of thing. Like, oh,
yes,
oh hi Matt, how you doing?
yeah.
Who's your friend? I was like, Mom, you're like 6 years old. Like, what are you?
Yeah,
This kid's
stop it.
16
It's
years old.
gross.
Hi, like this being really like flirtatious.
Hmm.
This mom's like that. It's crazy. I mean, it is like they talk about it. It is a kind of a little trope in movies, like the mom that like hits on the daughter's friends or the son's boyfriend.
Yeah.
But it because it's true, so it happens. And this is like I don't know, it's like like we go back to her living in the plantation society and being like that, and like what's happening in her. What does she always harp back on? Being the 17 gentleman caller is what's happening right now. Is a
Yeah.
gentleman at the house. So like, is it really about Laura,
Yeah.
or is it about her? But
Yeah. Well, and she is though trying to big up Laura, you know. She she when she speaks to Jim, um well, at first, she kind of talks to him like trying to charm him and stuff like that. But then, she says, "Oh, you know, Tom, why don't you go check and see if Laura's got dinner ready?" Laura didn't prepare any of the dinner. Amanda did all of this, but
yeah, yeah,
but
it was a
she's trying to play it up that Laura is domestic, and she's like, "Oh,
that's a good
have you
point. I didn't
ever,
think about that.
yeah, have you ever known a pretty girl to also be domestic? Like, look at Laura's A class, you know?" And then this is where she talks about, this is where she gets the most like, this is a woman who's living in the past. She says, "Well, in the South, we had so many servants. Gone, gone, gone. All vestige of gracious living. Gone completely. I wasn't prepared for what the future brought me. All of my gentlemen callers were sons of planters, and so of course I assumed that I would be married to one of them and raise my family on a large piece of land with plenty of servants. But man proposes and woman accepts the proposal. To vary that old saying a little bit, I married no planter. I married a man who worked for the telephone company. That gallantly smiling gentleman over there, and she points at the picture, a telephone man who fell in love with long distance. Now he travels, and I don't even know where. But what am I going on for about my tribulations? Tell me yours. I hope you don't have any. And then she calls for Tom.
Man, whoever wants to hear it.
Yeah. But that paragraph, that one little bit of monologue,
That's her.
that is the explanation of Amanda in
Yeah. Yeah. Right. That she is. That is a character, and a character that we
yeah.
see in literature a lot. Is
Hmm.
pining on something, never left it.
No,
So,
we've talked about them here before because we
yeah.
had Blanche
Yeah.
in Streetcar, who was very much that. We had Emily in A Rose for Emily, who was very much that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure there's been others as well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, even I mean, not that we read it, but Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara. She
yeah,
was, she
she's
was,
that too.
she was stuck in that.
Hmm.
But and the swimmer. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes, he was stuck in the past as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in a different way.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah. So they have this go. So they are, they're having dinner. Uh,
Well, they sit down to dinner, but Laura leaves.
yeah. Laura's not
She,
feeling well. I
yeah.
think she at some point she comes to have the dinner and she almost faints and
Well,
more
she
she looks
looks
pale.
ill.
She looks ill, and
Yeah.
this is a common theme in the story with her.
Yeah.
Like she went to business school, she was felt out of her element, and threw up on the floor. This is like I'm sure if she kind of maybe stayed on the table, then may have had the same fate. But
Yeah.
she did, she was pretty much guided to the couch.
Yeah, and they
Um,
leave her
they
there
leave her there. They have
and
a
then they sit
conversation.
down to have dinner.
They sit down to have dinner. I don't think that was most important. I like the fact that they're having this conversation, and I think at one point,
Well, that's the end of scene 6. We go into scene
yeah,
7,
at seven,
and
like
this is
yeah,
while they're sitting to dinner, the power goes out.
yeah, yeah, conveniently enough,
And yeah, and Amanda doesn't know that Tom hasn't paid the bill. So she's like, "Oh, must be a fuse."
yeah. And she's like, Jim, go to the fuse box. You seem like a guy knows his way around a house and understands domesticated life and all that." He was like, "Oh, certainly." So he goes and
Yeah.
checks the fuse box. He's like, "All the fuses are good." He's just one of those howdy doodies. Um,
Yeah. And then Amanda's like, "Wait.
try to
Tom,
she's
did
like,
you forget to pay the light bill?" And Tom doesn't really know what to say. He's like, and she's like, "You didn't. I might have known." And Jim knows what happened, right? But Jim's like, "Oh, Shakespeare probably wrote a poem on that light bill, Mrs. Wingfield." Um,
mm,
so he's very, you kind of get to know who he is as a person because of the way he handles the situation. He knows full well that Tom purposefully didn't pay that light bill,
yeah,
but he keeps things nice, you know?
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it's probably just, an accident. He just overlooked it because he was busy with his poetry." He tries to make it not a horrible thing. It's a nice thing. It's
I
just a silly, we'll laugh about this later
Yeah,
kind of thing.
like I wouldn't probably be friends with Jim, but I kind of I really like him because of this part of his personality. This always trying to say the right thing for the most part,
Hmm.
like not trying to be um I don't know, like he could have easily said I told you, Jim. You should have been. Now you want to talk to what you tell your mother what you said to me, kind of thing. Like he was not trying to
Yeah.
out Tom, which
Yeah,
is good.
no, he doesn't want to cause strife. He
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
he
He
just
make
wants to
light of
keep
it and go on, and he
the
does. Like
happiness going. Mhm.
so, like I guess like they light candles.
Yeah, they like candles. They just it becomes it becomes a bit of, the mood of the night is
Yeah,
now
and
we're in, low light. It's,
yeah, I love candlelight. This is good.
hmm
And and at some point he does make it. He goes to Laura. It's dark.
Yeah.
Laura's on his
Yeah,
couch. It's probably
so
dark on the side of the house.
Amanda in her, calculating ways says, "Tom, let's do dishes," and sends Jim to Laura.
Yeah.
Um, I think Laura benefits from the fact that it's darker now. The
Yeah,
the
I
dim
agree.
light is easier for her to face Jim in.
Yeah, yeah,
And also Jim is the sort of person who just wins her over.
yeah,
He did
yeah.
it in high school and he immediately does it again now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it takes her a minute, to be
Yeah.
fair. She has to be warmed up to it, but he does it because that's the kind of person he is. Um, he pours her a drink because he's been sent to the living room with a bottle of dandelion wine. Um, and he has candles as well, so he sets them down. And he sits on the floor, and Laura says that she'll sit on the floor too with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they start to talk, and Jim doesn't recognize Laura, but at some point she can't help herself, and he says something, and then she asks him if he's kept up his singing.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how would she know that he ever sang if she didn't know him prior to this? And he's like, "Singing? Me?" She says, "Yes, I remember what a beautiful voice you had." And he's like, "When did you hear me sing?"
Mm.
And that's when she says, how they knew each other. And she,
And he says, "Oh, I know you," but it was from something
yeah,
else. I'm trying to figure. And then he figures out that oh, it was blue roses,
yeah, yeah,
or
exactly.
she brings up
And
blue
he's
roses, and
like,
he goes, "Oh my goodness,
well,
my
no,
blue."
he says, "I thought I recognized you. And it was almost like I was about to remember your name, but the name I started to call you wasn't a name because it was Blue Roses." And he's like, that can't possibly be her name. Nobody is named Blue Roses. But and then he's like, "We did have a speaking acquaintance." And she's like, "Yeah, we spoke to each other." Um, and he's like, "When did you recognize me?" And she's like, "Oh, right away." And he's like, "Soon as I came to the door." And she's like, "Well, when I heard your name, I thought it was probably you." She's like admitting all of these things that she
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't have wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but Jim, to his credit, really is quite kind to her. She mentions that, they did have class together and, it was hard for her getting upstairs. So she often came into class late. Um, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I had the brace. I was clumping." And he's like, "Oh, I never heard that."
Mm.
Like he never noticed her handicapped, is that's what he says anyway. And it's quite lovely,
Yeah, it is. It is
because
like
she felt like everyone
everybody
was
noticed
looking
it,
at that.
and she didn't
Yeah.
like. And again, he was happy that she noticed his singing,
Mm.
and she was happy that he noticed her as just as a person, not a like a defect, not a
Yeah.
you know she all that she probably put so much emphasis on that she had this a leg like that and couldn't walk
hmm
comfortably and had a brace but like he didn't see any of that. So it's like I guess like is this one of those things that Tennessee Williams is saying? We kind of gravitate towards those people who see us in a light that maybe we don't see ourselves in, or it reminds us, or just notices us as to how much how like it's when someone notices us, how much more that we like them.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, something to meditate on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so like so they're talking, and I think it becomes at some point.
Well, she pulls out the yearbook
Yeah, she
and
has a yearbook right away. She's like, okay, yeah, this,
yeah.
and she wanted it, and she said, oh, can you, would you mind signing it for me?
Well, she said that in high school she wanted him to sign it.
And
And he
but
said,
it'll,
"Why didn't you ask me?" And she was like, "Well, because you always had your friends around you." And he says, "I was beleaguered by females in those days." I'm like,
God,
"Oh."
this guy,
But he takes out a pen and
he loves it.
yeah, he signs it for her.
He signs it with his penis. I'm sorry, you know I had to say that. If he could, he would.
I admit it, he did.
Yeah,
He
he
did.
signed it.
Figuratively, he did.
Yeah. Tony, that's what I was about to say. He's like, "Oh, sure, young lady. Let me. Oh, I got my. Okay, let me get my trusty Bic."
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, the thing is, they keep talking about things, and he asks her if she finished high school, and she says no, she dropped out. And she asks him if he, uh, or she asks about Emily, uh,
Mm,
which was his girlfriend, uh, when he was in high school, and they've broken up.
mm.
Um,
Wait, no, not amicably either.
no, because he calls her Krauthead, which is just awful. Um, but she said that the personal section said that they were engaged, and he goes, "Yeah, I know, but I wasn't impressed by that propaganda." And she's like, "It wasn't the truth." And he's like, "Only in Emily's optimistic opinion." So they clearly did not have a great
No,
relationship
yeah.
there.
Surprise.
And Jim asks her what she's been doing since high school, and she hasn't done a lot. Um, she's like, "But it's been 6 years. You must have done something." And she's like, "I took a business course at business college." And he's like, "Well, how did that work out?" She's like, "Well, not very well. I had to drop out. It gave me indigestion."
Mm, mm,
And he asks her what she's doing now, and she says, "I don't do anything much. I really like my glass collection. It keeps me very busy." And she uh she talks about her glass collection, and she has one, but before she can show him, he says, "You know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex." He then goes on for a while
mm. Yes.
about about how if she just, you know, you just need to think of yourself as superior, and then, you'll do away with this inferiority complex. And
Mm,
she's like, "But why? How? What way would I be superior?" And he's like, you need to look at the world around you. Everybody's common, but you've got all these good points. Um,
mm,
and he starts, talking to her. He's like saying what he's good at. That he has a fairly responsible job, that he's taking that course and studying public speaking. And he says, that he's doing it because he believes in the future of television. So we hear that, this is what his aim is to get going in television. Um, and Laura's like, "Ooh, no, I don't know about that." She's like, "But I'm really good at my glass collection. I care about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and he's like, I don't really know what you're talking about. What kind of glass is it? So this is when she gets him, she pulls out the one that she has, which is a unicorn, a little
Mm-hmm.
glass unicorn. And she says, this is the oldest. It's nearly 13 years old. And he stretches out his hand, to take it. And she's like, be careful. And he's like, oh, I better not take it then. I'm pretty clumsy. She's like, go on, I trust you with him. Like she's
Mm.
already, this is like her pet almost, the way she talks about it. And, he's looking at it and he's, admiring it. And the um he asks what kind of thing it is, and she's like, "Oh, look, it's a unicorn. It has a horn."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Aren't they extinct in the modern world?" And she's like, "Yeah." And Jim says, "Poor little fellow, he must feel sort of lonesome." And I think the fact that he said it, like he's meeting her where she is again, you know? She
Yeah.
cares about these things, so he's talking to her about them like they matter, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and
Little
he,
compassion. Similar to how the brother
yeah.
has compassion for the sister. It's like he's showing
Mhm.
his kind of compassion as well. Um,
And he puts the unicorn down on the table, and they keep talking, but then they hear music and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And she's like, "Oh, it's from the dance hall." And he's like, "Well, we're gonna dance then."
mm,
And it's a waltz. She doesn't want to, one, she's got the problem with her leg, so she's never danced before. And he's like, "Oh, it's a waltz. This is easy. Just try. I'll lead. You just try." And he gets her dancing. And, it's not the most elegant dance ever, but they're dancing, they're having fun.
yeah, yeah.
And then they hit the table, and the unicorn falls off the table and it breaks. Um, and Laura is, I think she's very hurt by this. This is
Yeah, yeah.
something she cares about, but she chooses, in the face of Jim and his optimism and his kindness to her, she chooses to say, well, you know what? Now he's not the only one of his kind. He looks just like the other horses, so he can be happier sitting with them on the shelf.
Well, I always say that
She,
that kind of translated to her like I'm like one of the other like normal people in her eyes.
hmm
Like I'm dancing with somebody. Like I'm not this
yeah,
alone anymore. Like I'm this like maybe she saw herself as this unicorn that has to
hmm
be protected and set aside. And now like look at it like she's danced like before like she's just hearing she probably hears the music of the dance hall down the street, but now she's like engaging in activity like the people who are in that dance hall dancing. So
hmm
um, now she's one of them. So it was like I
yeah,
guess like a transition for her in a way, leaving her
yeah,
old life behind. Like, oh look, I could say I did that,
hmm
which is really like optimistic, sweet way of looking at it, like to turn something that would be a negative to a positive, which is
yeah,
kind of like Jim's bag anyway. To 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 make everything a positive, always a nice spin to
yeah.
things. But Jim
Well,
feels
because,
bad too, right? He knocked it.
yeah, he feels bad that he knocked it over, but he appreciates Laura in that moment as well.
She's really kind of different growth, like some growth.
Yeah, well, because he says, that she's different. She's different than anyone he knows, but he doesn't mean it in a bad way. It says
Mm,
his voice becomes soft and hesitant with a genuine feeling.
yeah.
Um, and Laura is like, in this moment, this is more than she can take, right? She's just like, she's blossoming under the attention that Jim is giving her. And he he feels that he doesn't know how to talk to her suddenly.
Mm. He
Um,
can't like it said in the beginning of the story, like this, like I like that. Going back to what Tom said about the music, like we sometimes we're it's like this. I don't know this enchant this music spills into the alleys and makes people forget their problems, become more emotional. They're more open to their desires, and I feel like
Hmm.
because of the music, it's like they're under this trance. Like words are
Yeah.
not like really can't. It has to go to somewhere else, and it does.
Yeah.
Jim says that thing like, what does he say in about?
He tells Laura that she's pretty.
Yeah.
Um and like it talks about his voice becomes low and husky. Laura turns away, nearly faint with the novelty of her emotions.
Mm.
And he says, I wish that you were my sister. I'd teach you to have some confidence in yourself. The different people are not like other people, but being different is nothing to be ashamed of because other people are not such wonderful people.
Mm.
They're 100 times 1,000. You're one times one. They walk all over the earth. You just stay here. They're common as weeds, but you are, well, you are blue roses.
That's a really
Um,
pretty thing to say. Really sweet
and
thing to
she
say.
says, but blue is wrong for roses. And Jim says, it's right for you. You're pretty. So he's being so lovely with her. But then, he asks if he can kiss her. And of course, Laura's on board. Um,
Yeah.
but after he kisses her, he immediately regrets it and says, I shouldn't have done that. Um, and he like reaches for a smoke and asks if Laura smokes, and she shakes her head. Or she doesn't even really hear the question. She doesn't respond. Then he asks her if she wants a mint, but she doesn't hear that either. This kiss has totally thrown her. She's off with the fairies suddenly.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and he he says, he starts to explain himself, that if he had a sister like her, he'd be bringing boys home to meet her as well. You know,
He kind of like sees what the he's being a little more forthright with her. Like I got him. He knows why I got invited here. He knows why he's
yeah,
why Tom invited him there, and but also that Tom didn't wasn't
but then
aware that
he says, but I can't call again.
yeah
I
I can't drop in.
I can't drop in. And she's like, you won't call again? And he's like, no, Laura, I can't. Um, he's already got strings on him.
Mm.
He's engaged
Yeah,
to
a
a
girl.
girl named Betty, and he loves her.
Yeah.
This isn't just, oh, well, I've already spoken for, I'm already spoken for. This is, no, that's the love of my life. And he had a moment and he faltered, but Betty is where his heart lies. Um, and it's like you said, maybe he was caught up in the music
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Doesn't
the moment, but he's in love with Betty, and
that's
that's
that.
where he has to be.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, and Laura Laura's sad. It's very clear that she's sad. She was caught up in the moment as well, and she was maybe believing that there was a future, like her mom said, and but she hands him the unicorn, and he's like, "You want me to have him?" And she's like, "Yes." And he says, "What for?" And she says, "A souvenir." And then she goes off to play the Victrola again. um the moment's over. It's done.
Yeah.
She's
I don't think she's regretful. I just felt like I think she got a lot of out of
no.
like she got something out of it too. She's changed. She's at least like she could feel. If anything, she even though he can't really follow through with it, he knows by the exchange. She knows she knows that that exchange was authentic, and I was desirable. I felt desirable. I was desirable. Doesn't matter. I don't care if shit like if he's getting engaged or not. At that moment, he
Mm-hmm.
forgot, and he
Yeah.
was she was um kind of a slave to the allure of it, and so was he. And so I
Yeah.
just the fact that it went there makes her feel like I don't know, gives her a boost of confidence. I think
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna view life through the glass menagerie um anymore so much. Like I think that it's like maybe
Yeah.
that was like her lens, but now it's she could. I'm not sure if she's gonna go join a public speaking class or something like that. But I think that
No.
she has there's something there's the change, a transition. That's what Tony was saying. A transition. There was a this is a
Yeah.
symbolizes a transition. That's why she gave him that unicorn to
Mm-hmm.
show that okay, I'm past it now. This
Yeah,
is
and
a
it's
gift.
also
You freed
the
me,
unicorn changed
and she
by losing
changed.
its horn, and she changed.
Yeah,
That is a souvenir of what happened between them and within her.
but also acceptance
Um,
too that it broke. She's broken too, so to
hmm
speak. She has her leg like that, but it's okay. She can go on, and she could be something, or she could have self love, even as marred as she's marred like the unicorn with a
hmm
broken piece, a broken horn. Uh,
Yeah.
so
But this is when Amanda re-enters the room, and now we've got to bring Amanda up to speed.
yeah, yeah. Mm,
um, Amanda has, loved having Jim there. First of all, they
yeah.
had, good banter during dinner, but, now that he seems to have gotten on so well with Laura, and Jim's like, well, I have to be going um, because he has a couple of time clocks to punch, one in the morning and one at night. And she's like,
Ooh,
oh,
you got more than
you
one
must be
job.
ambitious if you work at night. And he's like, no, ma'am, not work, but Betty. And then she's like, Betty, Betty, who's Betty? And he's like, oh, just a girl, the girl I go steady with. And it says, he smiles charmingly, the sky falls. So uh, Amanda is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, but she still, keeps up her good hostess persona. She's like, oh, well, that's lovely for you, uh, it's nice of you to come to dinner. He
Mm,
thanks her, and she's like, "Oh, it wasn't a big deal."
mm,
Um, and he says that he hopes he doesn't seem like he's rushing off, but he's got to go. He's picking up Betty. So Betty has been away, and that's why he came to dinner. Remember, he didn't know about Laura, so he just thought, "Oh, well, my girl's away. I might as well get a good dinner with my friend that, that his
mhm.
mom prepares." So that's the reason he said yes, and then he was gonna go pick up Betty on the way home and
Random
take her home.
opportunity.
So yeah, totally. I mean,
But
I
I
don't
don't
blame
think
him.
about it. Yeah, I don't think I don't. I had. I probably wouldn't be friends with the gym, but I dig him. Like I think he's.
Yeah,
I think he. I of all the. I think that he would probably be a really annoying person in real life, but like, but I do feel I liked that he made those decisions. I think that he knew when to step out of the light, even though he loved being in the light. He knew when to step out of it and make someone feel special. Um,
yeah. And um Amanda takes this as Tom being evil. Not evil, but like that he's trying to pull one over on them, right? She's like, "What a great joke you played on us." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, well, Jim's engaged. And he's like, he's engaged. Um, and Amanda's like, yeah, you didn't know? And he's like, no, I had no idea.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you, but he was your friend. And she's like, well, it's not like we were best friends or anything. He was just the guy I knew the best at the warehouse.
Hmm.
Um, and she's just like, you don't know anything about anything. You live in a dream. And she asks where he's going, and he says, I'm going to the movies. It's,
Yeah.
that's his out. That's always his out. He's going to the movies. And she's like, you know what? Go then. Go to the moon, you selfish dreamer.
Ugh. You should say you should talk.
Yeah.
Scarlett O'Hara.
Yeah. And then, he does his closing speech. Um, he says that he didn't go to the moon, but he went much further. Um, he travels a lot. He's always on the go from city to city. He
Mm-hmm.
says, I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. It always came upon me unawares, taking me altogether by surprise.
Hmm.
Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps it was only a piece of transparent glass.
Wow.
So his sister haunts him.
Yeah. Which is, like I said,
And
going back to his life, I think. I mean, we know Shiny's done some research. The sister, was in the hospital, and I feel like maybe this was like supposed to be like symbolic of like him having to live with the fact that he's put his sister in a hospital. Um, it played out like maybe he would have wanted it to be something a little more like this is a lot more a more of a positive spin on what could have happened.
yeah,
But like in reality, Tennessee Williams ended up following his dream, became this famous playwright, writer, did very well, while his sister
was
was
institutionalized.
institutionalized. So
And
the
his
real
sister outlived him as well.
yeah, that we were I was really surprised by that. Like she died in the 90s, right?
I think it was in the 80s. I think,
At
hold
late
on.
80s. It was close. I thought it was closer to
Yeah,
90, like 91 or something like that.
maybe. Um, no, you're right. 1996.
1996, yeah.
She lived from 1909 to
1996.
1996.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she had a lobotomy in 1943. Yeah.
Unreal. So, like I said, like I, I don't and I knew that what you also found out that Tennessee Williams part of his tours like what was it with one of his plays like one of his successful plays he some of the arrangement
Oh,
was that
all of the money went to, I can't remember which play it was, but all of the money went to pay for Rose's
up
care.
yeah yeah that was the stipulation.
Yeah. And
um
and the thing was that lobotomy that happened, Tennessee didn't know was happening. He gave no consent for it. His mother authorized it.
mm.
Um
Which
and
adds
it
more to the guilt
that
like he
yeah. And the fact that she maybe wouldn't have needed to be institutionalized if she hadn't have had that
yeah mm-hmm
lobotomy because it incapacitated her. And what she was diagnosed with was schizophrenia.
mm-hmm yeah so
So
I
she had severe
yeah
paranoia and hallucinations. So like she probably would have needed some care. She might not have needed
as much care as like
as much care as
after the
she
lobotomy.
did after having the lobotomy. So
Mm.
I think it was his will. When he died in 1983, he placed the bulk of his estate in a trust to pay for Rose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he made sure that she was taken care of until she died.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't. Is this play is close more
Yeah, than any
biographical
of his
than
other
any of his
plays.
other plays? Maybe it's like I said. he goes, this is a memory, but maybe a hope that it could have maybe played out like this for her. Is Yeah, you may think it's a sad story that the guy that finally paid attention to her ended up already being taken, and she was kind of left behind. But I don't know. She was not left with nothing. She was left with a new frame, like a hope or a framework or a
Mm,
perspective, if anything. I feel like that was a lot more hopeful than whatever happened in reality with Rose, his real
yeah.
sister. So, and
It's
again,
interesting timing actually. This play came out during the winter of 1944, 1945. It was based on one of his short stories that he wrote in 1943. I have a feeling that the Glass Menagerie was almost a direct response to his sister's lobotomy.
mm, like almost like she was very innocent, and like that horn broken, whereas like
Yeah.
someone's so fragile, and you do this to her, now she's altered forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Mm-hmm.
testament to her innocence.
Yeah.
But very good. Um, love. One day we'll probably maybe see and put in the Discord. We'll see the film version. Very young John
That'd be good.
Malkovich. Very young John Malkovich in this plays
Oh
Tom.
yes, we have to watch the specific version.
Yeah, because
That
that's what I have the book with the very very 80s photos in it. I have the cinema. They do that for books sometimes when they at the time when it was became a TV movie.
Yeah.
They reissued the book,
Mm.
republished it with stills from the film. So, but I want to thank everyone for being here. We apologize for all the um, tech difficulties. We figured it out. Well, I didn't figure it out. Yeah, I still need to do some homework on it. But I want to thank Shiny for kind of keeping everybody in the loop. But we'll see you
Yeah, thanks
soon.
everyone for being here.
Yeah. And thank you again. Oh, no problem, Tony. All right. Well, you all take care, all right?
Bye.
Bye.